Hi everyone, my name is Allison, and today I'm going to present real estate as my career project. If you hear any background noise, forgive me. It's family night. My family's kind of loud, and they aren't eating pozole today, so it's kind of one of those days today. I first wanted to get into real estate when I had seen my mom purchase her second home. It was just one of those things that you feel accomplished for, and you worked hard for it. Her first home was actually for her parents and her siblings so they can grow up and that the grandchildren can grow up in the house as well. But the second home was just for her and her kids, which includes me. And seeing how my assessments kind of matched up with what I wanted to do really encouraged me and inspired me more to follow this path in this kind of direction. So a realtor, real estate agent, real estate brokers, they all aim for the same thing. They want to buy, sell, rent homes, land, and other properties. And for that, they have to kind of be on top of their game, you know, keep on their toes so that any any deals they see that are good for them and that they can get something out of, they can snatch it real fast, and it benefits them. Education, so you really don't need any college education for this, but they do recommend you get licensed by the state, and every state varies in requirements and rules and stuff like that. But typically you can obtain your license between 3 to 9 months. And there is a school here that has two campuses, and it's called Champion School of Real Estate. They have packs, like school packs that have textbooks, tests, uh, tutoring and stuff like that. And it varies from 300 to 1600. I could be wrong on those numbers, but they do have everything on their website where you can look it up and you can see stuff like that. Six soft skills is communication. Communication is one of those key things that I think can work in everyday life, because you don't just communicate at work, you communicate in school, when you go out to shop. But it's one of those things that you need to kind of pay attention to so that you and your client both know where y'all stand. And if anything works or if anything doesn't work, you have that, you know, understanding between each other. Being an active listener is also a big thing because you need to know what your client wants. And, it's not what you want, it's not what you think is best for them, because you don't know what's best for them. They know what's best for them. And I think understanding what they want is a big thing. Social cues as well. It's kind of one of those things that you need to know about your client so you don't disrespect them or offend them in something that maybe you don't know about, but maybe to them it's disrespectful. So I think you should kind of have that sense of your client, especially if they're like foreigners or international clients. Negotiation is also a big thing. I think that if you it's not always going to be a perfect deal for you, but I think if you and your client can negotiate something, both sides come out more positive, and you don't come out with a negative deal or something like that. Patience is also something big. I when you have a client, it can take up to months. I know my mom took up maybe 5 months with her realtor, and it took what seemed like forever to find a perfect home for her. And sometimes it will happen like that. It's not always, oh, in a week we'll find your house, because you know Not everybody just knows right away that's their house or has the means to find a perfect house. Tactfulness as well. I think if you don't know if it's a good deal anymore, I think you should try to figure out what works for you. And if it doesn't work for you anymore, maybe you need to let that client go and cut some ties so that it doesn't come back to you and bite you back. The outlook. So recently, I have seen more interest in the real estate field. I've seen like I've seen more agents circle around apps like TikTok and Instagram, and I've seen a lot of people want to be in this, but it's kind of like hard because there's like limited openings for stuff like that. But I think if you can find something that works for you, go for it, because not everybody gets the opportunity like this. Jobs associated, personal financial advisor. This could be good because it helps you kind of budget with like budget money. And for real estate, not everybody has the same amount that the bank loans to them when they get, a loan for the house. So it kind of lets you see what you need to take back on, what else you can add for the house, and stuff like that. Loan officers kind of follows the same thing, kind of shows you what kind of money you can use, what kind of money you need to save for the other side, and stuff like that. Sales engineers, same thing. It's dealing with services like to business. So businesses like to buy like plazas. I know you see like the little stores right next to each other in one singular building, but stuff like that is where sales engineers can come in handy to see if they can open some space more and stuff like that. 5 interview questions. So yeah, I don't know if you want me to say this, but give me an example of a time you faced a conflict while working on a team. How did you handle that? So while working in one of my classes, my team and I had, some of those people who didn't put as much input as others. So in order for that, we kind of just helped the other team member out, and we set up times where we can all meet where we are all available, and if we weren't available, we would text another teammate to see what we missed out on and stuff like that, so we were on time with our due dates. Talk about a time when you had to work closely with someone whose personality was very different. Okay, so at my previous job, I was a team leader, and I was, one of the tasks for team leaders was to train the new hires. So there was this coworker that I had that kind of always seemed to avoid working, but I was, they were like, "Oh, you need to keep an eye on her and make sure she's doing what she's supposed to." And I was like, "Yeah, that's okay, that's fine." And when I'm at work, I like to, do what I have to do. Like I'm there to get paid. And so I just do what I have to. But this person was, you know, always sneaking off to be on her phone. And I found ways to work with her where she won't be like overwhelmed, where she has to leave. I told her, well, maybe if you don't want to be here anymore, let me know. I can help you out. You could go do something else. So you don't have to be, you know, with customers all the time. You can have some time to yourself, and then we'll switch back. Describe a time when your team or company was undergoing some change. How did that impact you, and how did you adapt? So after the businesses were starting to open up, my job was one of the last businesses around the area to open the inside, like for dining. And it was kind of challenging just because a lot of the hires or the staff that was there entered the store after the pandemic started. So a lot of us didn't really know what to do. because it was more like it was more rushed for us. We were used to only doing the window and curbside and like Uber Eats and third party stuff. And we weren't really used to dining yet. So it was a big change for us. So we had set up a meeting and we had asked the workers who were there before COVID to kind of give us some tips on what to do and what we were supposed to do. Sometimes it's just not possible to get everything on your to-do list done. Tell me about a time your responsibilities got a little overwhelming. What did you do? So my senior year was challenging. Yeah, it was challenging. Just because I did online, I wasn't able to do a lot of my stuff face to face with my teachers, and I'm a visual learner, so I have to kind of see what's happening, and I have to, somebody has to tell me ear to ear, mouth to ear, and tell me what to do. And when I was online, a lot of my work started stacking up just because I didn't really know what to do. And I was beginning to feel overwhelmed. So I had decided to kind of do a system for myself that worked out in the end. So every day it would be a different class because I had 5 classes. It would be one class one Monday, one class Tuesday, and so on. And that really did work out for me. Tell me about a time you were dissatisfied in your work. What could you have done to make it better? Okay. So my junior year was the year where COVID had started. It was the second semester, and we had done we had read The Great Gatsby, and we had to do an essay over it. I did read the book. Okay, it was a great book. I enjoyed the book, but writing was kind of like, ooh, I don't want to write. So I kept procrastinating, pushing it aside. And then when I was like, whoa, it's due tomorrow, I was like, oh, wow. And I pushed it aside. And then I did it the day of. And I was getting overwhelmed. I was getting nervous. I was typing really fast. I was making mistakes with my spelling, making mistakes with my grammar. And I just felt like I wasn't working my best. So I was given a B for that paper. So sad. I know I could have done so much better. If only I had managed my time, which is something that I'm working on, I would have been able to receive an A in that essay. So I did a interview with my boyfriend's aunt, who I had recently met a couple months ago through a wedding. And we were talking, and she told me she was a real estate agent. So I thought she would be perfect for this project just because she told me she had a theater in her house. So that really caught my attention. So I asked her, what advice would you give someone who's barely starting out in this field? And she replied, my advice to a new agent is to interview different brokers and choose one that would train them or offer mentors. And I think that's a very good advice just because some people don't know how to start. And I think if you have a good teacher to teach you, you know, you can do what you want to do. It's kind of like that saying with the fish and the old guy, give him a fish and he'll eat for a day, teach him how to fish, and he'll eat for a lifetime. What are some challenges you face as an agent? There's always challenges in this field. Every client is different, so we are always learning something new. Plus, sometimes you have to be a counselor as well. Husband and wife wants are completely opposite, and you have to meet them in the middle. This is just one of many. And she puts, oh well. So this, I don't know. I didn't really expect this answer. A lot of people tend to forget that not a lot, like in partnerships, and they don't really see eye to eye just because they're sometimes completely different. But I think it's one of those things that where negotiation kind of falls in place and communication. And I think those are kind of what, showed me those soft skills in this. How do you find places to sell, lease, or rent? As a Houston realtor, once you find your broker, you become a member of HAR. This is an app that you find kind of like Zillow. They have a program that all members use to locate all the available properties in the Houston area. So this is just a curious question for me because I really never knew how they found houses like that. So it was something that was knowledgeable for me as well. And then this is my cover letter. I'm very proud of this cover letter. I don't know. I think it's pretty good. This is my resume. I kind of try to coordinate all my colors. I don't know. This was a really fun project for me. I don't. It was something I enjoyed making. I don't really have a lot of creative freedom in high school when it came down to projects like this. So thank you. Hope you. Well, I'm pretty sure you enjoyed my presentation. And see you Wednesday, I hope.